thrilled at the moment.
No?
No?
My keyboard died the other night. Just stopped working. The replacement I ordered was supposed to be here yesterday, and it hasn't arrived. We did an episode of the Trash Girl Diaries podcast, myself with Elsa Farron, and I complained liberally on that, so this is redundant, and yet I'm going to complain again. I'm having to use the on-screen keyboard at the moment.
Ooh.
I'm having to, just click with the mouse. It's not good. I tell you what, right? It's not efficient.
I'd at this point be looking into, like, can I use my microphone to do voice to text? I think would be more preferable to letter by letter clicking.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it might be that I'm just used to fucking typing shit on consoles now.
Oh, a crime to be used to that.
Yeah, one shouldn't be. But, yeah, that's all I've got this week for banter, because, to be honest, I'm dealing with insomnia at the moment. I've been awake for an hour because I keep falling asleep at God knows when, managing to grab an hour or two of sleep. I don't know what's happened, but my sleep is completely fucked, and I am completely fucking shattered. The only other thing I've got for bants, and it's disgustingly video game related, because I've been playing the Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I was curious as to what, like, you could do with some Animal Crossing amiibos on it. Not much. Not much at all. But I did examine the Tom Nook amiibo, and it's gotten me looking at Tom Nook, and indeed any Animal Crossing character with sleeves, in a horrific new light, because I didn't appreciate it looking at a picture, but I can certainly see it now, having looked at the amiibo. Tom Nook looks like he's got his hands cut off.
I see it.
Because I know it's that art style where, like, creatures don't have hands, it's just little nubs. But his terminate with a flat, blunt end.
If the sleeves stopped above the shoulder, I don't think the effect would be the same, but you're right.
Wouldn't it be as pronounced?
It's because they come down to what would be the wrists, you have to interpret everything sticking out of the sleeve as the hand, and it's too small.
Yeah, it doesn't look right. It's not as bad on someone like Isabel, who has sleeves and like, nubbins, because they're rounded. But it's still there. It's still a bit disturbing to me.
I think I found the perfect amiibo to see this problem with. Look for the Animal Crossing amiibo Kicks. K-I-C-K-S. Because this skunk has one sleeve rolled up and one sleeve down to the wrist. And you can see the problem in real time.
Yeah, I'm looking that up because
one of those looks looks like it might have a hand, and one looks like a little nub coming out the sleeve.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's not right. I won't stand for it. The other really bad thing is if you look at the Tom Nook one, and you think, right, looks like he's got his hands cut off. If you then try and imagine the hands on them, then it's too long. And now if you can imagine the hands, his forearms become really long. And he ends up with, in my mind, like proper human proportioned, like 4 fingers and a thumb. And that I don't want either.
It's now making me think about the fact that there is one Animal Crossing character that does have fingers. And that feels weird now, is KK Slider.
Oh.
KK Slider has 3 fingers in order to be able to play the guitar.
It's amazing that they thought of that. They were fine with all the other Animal Crossing characters not having hands, but they looked at KK Slider and thought, how the fuck is he going to play guitar?
He's also the only one that I can see in the amiibo range that has toes as well, because they couldn't give him fingers and not give him toes.
Yeah. Oh, it's no wonder, like, everyone practically worships KK Slider in that universe. He's the only one with, like, who can pick up a drill.
Well, no, you look at Mr. Rossetti, who has an amiibo. He can pick something up despite not having fingers, because they just shove the pickaxe handle through his arm/hand nub.
Yeah, they just cram it through.
It's not grabbing it, it's just sort of pierced through the flesh.
Yeah, it's one of the hard things about translating characters without hands into a 3D medium.
I think it's perfectly reasonable until you give one of them fingers and then it gets gross.
Well, there's that, but there is also, as you point out, like I'm a fan of Kirby, as I have talked about, and I have lots of Kirby tat. And on screen, when Kirby is holding something, it looks fine. Any, like, figures or what have you of Kirby holding something, you have to contend with the image of some of that object being sunken into his flesh in order for him to hold it. Honestly, I don't think character designers are being very responsible when they design characters without hands. They don't think about the implications. They don't think about the consequences. And if anything, that's what this podcast is here for. It's for a little bit of, for God's sake, professional accountability.
Right? We are nothing if not holding video games to realistic, real-world standards. We're basically auditors here on this show.
We hold their feet to the fire. Their three-toed dog feet to the fire. I really don't like that. I hadn't thought about the fact that only KK Slider has hands.
No, the fact that KK has fingers has really made...
Yeah.
I feel like I stumbled upon a lost secret I was never meant to learn.
I gave myself a bad enough day with Tom Nook's. Tom Nook's hands being cut off.
This
at
feels
the wrist,
like one of those
this...
things where some government agency is going to come and like flash and erase my memory, like in Men in Black now, because I learned too much.
Yeah, I must admit, I am like pulling back the curtains looking for Agent Smith out the fucking window. Oh God, Laura, you've sunken us. You've ruined us. We're gonna get got now. I hate getting got. If there's one thing I hate getting, it's got.
I'm sorry I'm gonna get us got. That's on me. I shouldn't have got us got. I was too curious.
Actually, having parted the curtains, I wanna... Oh, fuck. The wrong bin got put out. It's recycling today, and the trash bin was put out, and they were already filled. Oh, that is a trip to the tip, that is.
You know how we could maybe stop ourselves getting got for having uncovered this deep dark secret? We could just pretend that Podquisition is a show where we talk about, like, video games, what we've played and stuff, and not a deep investigative series into KK Slider's fingers.
Just
and
cover our
hope
tracks.
that that's enough of a cover that, like, they don't notice what we've learned.
Cover our tracks. Yep. I'm up for that. Like a dog kicking, like, dirt back over a mound of... Oh, God, I'm thinking about the dog's feet again.
Who's played video games or done video gamey stuff this week?
I mean, I don't know if you've noticed everything going on in this country from your ivory tower, but I haven't really had time for video. I played one. I played one, and I went to a protest.
Yeah, no, you're allowed. You can get a pass this week. This week, you're allowed not to have done your homework.
But I did play
only
something.
this week, though. You better be playing video games next week, Conrad. Oh,
I've been completely disconnected from the internet for a while. Not
That's good.
Disconnected.
That's wise,
in a sense, but I haven't followed up on what's going on here. Let's actually look in real time and see if that doesn't ruin the podcast for me.
Oh, well, they fired a Nazi to try and pretend like firing the Nazi would solve the problem of all the Nazis in our streets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep murdering protesters by just, like, shooting them in the head with guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, more of the murders.
Yeah. We don't need to
the
dwell on
state
it.
Murders, yeah.
Nah,
Let's not dwell on it.
I can distract by talking about the two extremes of video game things I did this week.
Oh, boy.
Where do you want to start with this week? Do you want... Laura does the most autistic thing possible and plays a video game in public in a very autism way? Or do you want to hear about Christoph Gans and his new Silent Hill movie?
Oh. Both of those are so incredibly tantalizing.
Right.
I think I'm most interested in Autism Laura being an autism.
I can start with Autism Laura doing some autism.
But the thing is, do I want that now? or do I want to save it like pudding?
Oh, don't worry. There'll be plenty of pudding in Return to Silent Hill, don't you worry.
Okay, I do like pudding.
Yeah, so I finally last week did a thing I have been considering, threatening to do for about 2 years. I went and played Train Simulator, the video game where you pretend to drive a train, on a real train. Not only did I do this, there's an easy way that you do this that is unobtrusive. I bring the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally or something and just sit and play my video game on my little handheld console. And just, like, be normal about it. No. I have a thing called the Rail Driver, which is a train station controller, like a train controller. It's like when people have, like, the steering wheel setups for their Formula 1 games, but for trains. I brought this hefty big train controller and an adapter so I could plug it into the ROG Ally, and set it up across, like, 2 seats on a train and, like, the accompanying tray tables. And I went to a specific station. I went out of my way to go to Brighton train station down on the south coast, because in Train Simulator, I have the class of train and the train route that goes from Brighton Central Station to London Victoria in London. So what I did is I used my little train controller and my little handheld gaming PC that can play the train game, and I went through each station in real time, playing the train game, attempting to stop at each station at the same time as the real train was stopping at that station, playing the train video game on the real train, doing the same route as the real train.
That, like, I don't have the kind of autism that makes me like trains, right? I have the one that just makes me, like, not like sticky things on my hands, which isn't as cool as some of the stuff I see people getting into. I feel like I got shortchanged on the autism
You reckon
lottery.
you got shortchanged by not being the kind of person that would play train sim on a train? You reckon that's the cool kind of autism?
I reckon I got shortchanged. But I will say, that sounds fucking awesome. That sounds fucking great.
Here's the thing. I've been putting off doing this for a long time. I was worried about, like, I'm gonna be putting a big flashing sign that says, "Hello, I'm autistic," pointing at myself, in a public space, on a journey that's gonna be about an hour and a quarter's journey.
Yeah.
So, like, there's gonna be an amount of time in which I can't really run. If someone comes over and goes, "You're weirdly autistic," I can't really run away from that situation because I have a whole lot of train paraphernalia stopping me escaping. What I learned doing this is a thing that I have long believed, but this is maybe the most strongly it's been reinforced to me. People don't give a shit, generally in life, anything about what anyone else is up to, because they're too busy with their own shit. They don't give a shit what anyone else is up to.
Yeah.
It's a weirdly liberating feeling to go, at most people who got onto that train walked past, looked briefly, double-took, and kept walking. Most people did not stop and look for more than a second or so at the person with the whole little train conductor's cabin set up at their train seat. The most it got acknowledged was the ticket inspector came along the train and was, like, checking everyone's tickets. He did not ask to check my ticket. I assume he looked at what I had going on and went, that does not look to me like someone who, A, would disrespect the rail system by not buying a ticket, and B, like someone who has any way of running away from a ticket inspector.
Oh god, you should have tried. If he came near, you should have started, like, really horridly trying to bundle it. Oh, just like, we've been rumbled.
He stops, he looks for, like, longer than anyone else, and he looks at the screen, and he clearly twigs, like, oh, that's the same. Looks at me, and just smiles, and does, like, a really slow nod at me. I'm like, hell yeah. Things I learned doing this. Trains are a little unpredictable at the best of times here in the UK. So, like, the first 20 minutes of my journey was not as one-to-one as I had hoped it would be. Brighton to Haywards Heath, we ended up, for various reasons, being on a slightly different model of train going slightly different steps. So for about the first 20 minutes, it was not one-to-one. That was the 20 minutes I was going, does this tech setup work, and how much do I have to be on guard for other people looking at me? But from, like, Haywards Heath to East Croydon, basically that whole stretch of the journey 1-to-1, within about 4 or 5 seconds time difference, I am in sync with the real train. It is a testament to how good a train video game from 2016 is with its accuracy of replicating tracks. Obviously, I don't know the exact mile-per-hour speeds that the train driver is driving, so I'm having to sort of guesstimate. You know, I know roughly what time I'm supposed to arrive at the next station. I'm trying to, line it up as best I can. I've got video footage recording this where, I'm going into a tunnel, and about 2 seconds later, the real train's going into the tunnel. But more than that, I was really impressed by how the in-game recreation of the route mimics a lot of things that are less obvious, that made for good reference markers of am I going too fast or too slow. Because, obviously, bridges, train tracks converging, bits of infrastructure, that I expected to be fairly accurate. I don't know if I expected it to be as real-time accurate as it was, but at least, theme-wise, I expected it to be roughly correct. But things like specific clusters of trees going off into a field in a specific direction, being replicated in-game well enough to use as a landmark for I'm roughly at the right speed. Things like clusters of houses where, maybe it's not one-to-one recreations of the houses, but it's oh, that terraced block of red brick houses with the grey roofs, that's what I'm passing alongside now. It's a really quite accurate recreation in a way that was, very satisfying. Just the synchronicity of it all. I, at one point, did accidentally trip the driver alertness alarm, and my virtual train had to come to a complete stop before it was allowed to move again, because I didn't have sound on with the game, because I didn't want to draw more attention to myself than I needed to, and there was a whole point where I left a tunnel quite a lot earlier than the real train, so I stopped to give the real train time to catch up, and then forgot that it was going to take me bloody forever to get the train back up to speed. That, the real train leaving a tunnel at full speed, and me going, oh, it's left, I'll start following it now, was going to have to start from 0, and that was going to take a while to ramp up. I did do a bit of speeding, and I failed to notice the tiny little icon on screen that usually would have been an alarm going, hey, do you know you're speeding, is that okay? You haven't fallen asleep at the wheel, have you? We got to stop the train if you have. So I did that once. But generally speaking, remarkably accurate experience between the real train and the virtual train. The people making this, I don't know if they had to go to this degree of effort, but as someone that really likes train simulators, it's very satisfying to know, oh, this is accurate enough that I can literally pull into the stations at the same time, and notice the same clusters of trees as I drive the train. Train simulator games are a bit of a rabbit hole of content. I feel a lot less bad about the prices that some of the DLC tracks and trains are. Having done this and gone, okay, they did go to a lot of effort to really get this point-for-point perfect. So yeah, I played Train Sim on a train this week, and it went remarkably smoothly, honestly.
That sounds just delightful. I am
Yeah.
so pleased by all of that.
So yeah, that's a video game thing I did this week. What about both of you?
Go ahead, Steph. I think you've probably got more.
I've got two things. I've been still playing a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't want to linger on the complaints that I did last week. I don't know, I'm in two minds on this thing. I really like a lot of it because it's doing, as I said last week, when it's Animal Crossing and it's doing Animal Crossing things, I'm really into it. But the padding and everything, yesterday, the Able Sisters clothing shop opened, and it struck me just how long that had taken compared to other games. It felt way longer, and that's the problem, is everything feels like it's taking so much longer to set up. One has to wonder, is it just because there's nothing after this? I know I caught a lot of heat when the game was new, and I complained about a lot of the padding. I don't know if time has justified me too much. I do know that I was talking to Ninty on the Discord, and they said that a lot of Animal Crossing fans have been feeling like me, where it's you know what, I might as well just fire up New Leaf again.
I'll say this, my suspicion is that while the padding complaints were kind of true at the time when this game released, my gut instinct is that a lot of people were pretty okay with the padding because they wanted this Animal Crossing to last longer, And if padding got that there, it was going to keep them sane for a bit longer during that particular period of time.
The thought had crossed my mind that it's like now this game isn't a lifeline. Like, just genuinely, like, I started trying to pen a review for the Switch 2 version, but I don't know if I want to commit to a full review or if I want to just write, why are they charging $5 for a performance patch? Just repeat that line over and over again. But the thought did cross my mind that, like, now that, it's been
stripped of the context of everybody being trapped in their homes
Yeah.
and can be assessed on the merits of being a game.
Yeah, now that people don't feel they need it, can they, are they assessing it a bit more fairly? I don't know. Like, again, I will say there is, clearly, I'm still playing it. I don't have to keep playing it.
Yeah.
It is doing enough. But those little bits and those little bits of stretching out, the thing that really fucking annoyed me this week was gyroids. They are my favourite thing in the series. I love the little guys that you can dig up and that will do a little dance and go a little nip, 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 nip. I love gyroids. And it struck me, it's been quite some time now and I've not dug one up. I've had rainy days. I've gone digging for fossils. I don't get any gyroids. I'm going to look it up. And once I saw it, I'm like, of course they've also taken gyroids and turned that into a lengthy chain of deals with days-long processes tacked on. That, even more than the wasps' nests, that struck me as indicative of New Horizons' biggest problem. I could get lucky and go on one of the mystery islands and dig up a gyroid, but it's not happened yet. So the only reliable way to get them on the home island is to build up, basically, like, complete the main goal of getting KK Slider in, then doing some other stuff, like with the captain, and then getting bits of a gyroid that I then have to grow. And I'm like, mate, they were a fun surprise that you could just dig up. That's it. They were a fun, random, adorable little thing. But the only gyroid I've seen is the one that I've got to pay to build bridges that will take a day and I can only build one per day. I don't know if I've ever really communicated this effectively to the listeners, but I'm not a patient woman. And I genuinely don't mind a bit of... I actually quite like the Animal Crossing structure of things taking place over the course of real days. Almost like in the same way the train simulator thing is. Like, there is something appealing about a one-to-one translation of a game experience and real life. But I genuinely feel New Horizons is actually abusive of the concept. I feel like it abuses that understanding of what Animal Crossing is to drag stuff out. Talking about the amiibos, like I had a Zelda amiibo knocking about, and I know they can be used to get stuff and also to attract villagers. Like try and get someone to move on the island. So I scanned the my Zelda one and got Minoru appearing at the campsite, and I'm like, right, now I can ask Minoru to join my island. And it's like, no, I have to scan her at least 3 times to get her on the island for 3 days in a row, real life days, and then it's gonna take, what, another day to get the house, then another day for her to be moving in all day, and, like, that's a week. I might have added one extra step there, just in case I did, just for the listeners. I don't know if I've added an extra step, but we could take that out, and we're still looking at, like, 4 days minimum to get one person, and it just seems excessive. Do I really need to scan this amiibo 3 times on 3 consecutive days? Of course there's a crafting side quest attached to each scan, because they want me to craft a certain item for them every time. And it's things like that, where I'm like, they are actually taking the piss. And that's a shame. Another thing that's really telling, and this is where I will offer praise, the DLC is way better in many ways. I find it way more compelling, and I can spend way more time. Even though fundamentally, it's kind of meaningless, because it's almost like the Tamagotchi game where it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, so long as you've got the base component that's been asked for, the animal will love it. But basically the DLC is you design vacation homes for animals on this resort. And even though I don't have to work as hard on those houses as I have done, I will spend ages. Someone wants a Christmas home. I will make it the most Christmassy home that has ever happened. Well, I'll do that for the garden, and then the main room, and then the bedroom I will line with black bricks, cogs and security cameras and surround the bed with skeletons. Because that's the other awesome thing you can do with that DLC. I haven't laughed as hard as... And this is essentially laughing at myself, so this is kind of sad, but I have not laughed as hard as I laughed than I have in a while when I designed my restaurant for the island. I made this lovely little theme restaurant. Again, didn't have to, but I themed it around night time, so I got this starry wall, and I put little like mushroom tables out and glowing moss and stuff, and it looks lovely. The atmosphere is wonderful. And then I spent so long on that, by the time I got to the kitchen, I was like, right, I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna fill one corner full of trash bags and burnt frying pans, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of oscillating fans on the wall behind it to really circulate the garbage smell. One of the objects you can put down is a crate of open fish, so I put that in front of 4 radiators, and that amused me greatly. I then went about the rest of my day, and later that night I was like, I'm going to revisit my restaurant. And I went in there and I was like, this is lovely. And in the back of my mind, I knew what was coming, but I wasn't prepared for the sheer contrast. As I went in this lovely atmospheric restaurant, spent some time in there, talked to the patrons, then walked into the kitchen, into this dismal, filthy, because I used piss yellow lighting and the worst looking floor I could with the garbage. I fucking cackled for ages.
Wow, just like an actual business owner.
Well, that was it. Making the room on its own was funny, but walking from having this wonderful storefront and then the sheer filth at the back, the effect of
just
it.
the knowledge of, they don't know what I've got back here.
Oh yeah, I was just as amused leaving the kitchen, walking back and seeing all the patrons eating their dinner. Yeah, it was great. One pig asked for their house to look like a game studio. So again, I did what I often do. I started sensibly, and then and I put footage of this on Blue Sky because it was amazing how well I managed to do it. By setting up some curtains, a laptop on the floor, many socks strewn about around it and a box of tissues, plus a poster of a large matronly chicken woman on the wall. Filmed from the right angle once you drop the pig in front of the laptop. I did design a happy little animal goon den. And I will say that is so much more edifying than what they did to gyroids. It is genuinely hard to go back to the home island after spending time in that DLC.
That new hotel stuff is pretty fun.
I haven't gotten to the hotel yet. I'm I'm working on that because I have heard that brings a lot of it to the base game. Because having to grind out my own house and just rely on RNG to get stuff I want, or, hoping I get the right crafting recipes and then needing the resources for that. The sandbox nature of the house design, it does make it really hard to go back to that because it's like, I've got so much freedom, not just in terms of having access to all the furnishings, but I get more freedom in where to place it and how big to make the home and all of this. It's funny that it's presented like you've been given a job. Like, to get to the DLC, you have to tell the dodo, I want to go to work. But the home island is where the chores are. The vacation job is an actual vacation from that. I don't know if the DLC would have felt as worth it to me if I wasn't subscribed to the Nintendo Online, because it comes with that. as something that makes the Nintendo Online actually, like, do a bit of fucking work for once, that is worth it.
It is the most substantial thing that Nintendo Online has given with it, I think.
It's absolutely what should be fucking done more. If you've got an online subscription, none of those Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades should cost you money. I know they did that with, Breath of the Wild, I think?
Breath of the Wild and Tears of
Yeah.
the Kingdom, I think. And there were a few others. There's, like, Mario Odyssey, I think, got one.
Yeah. And it should be for all of them. Like, I should not have been charged money for some of the Nintendo first-party games to have a Switch 2 version. That's what that fucking service should have. More of that. Like, just give me the DLC.
Yeah, there was a period where they were doing that. Like, around the same time as this Animal Crossing one was when they did the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC pack, also came with your online subscription, and that basically doubled the number of tracks in that game. There was a while where it seemed like any time a new DLC was announced, I think the Octo expansion for Splatoon as well, there's like 6 months where it was any time they announced a DLC, it was like, yeah, and it's free with your online.
Yeah, and of course, well, we all know what socioeconomic system we're all in. Value prospects like that were never going to last, but stuff like that should be more commonplace. Been doing more of the flower stuff. I wasn't dicking around with hybridization when we last spoke. I know you mentioned that. I have made a bit of a mess of my island. I had a neat little garden with a neat little flower patch, and now half of the main bit of the main landmass that my house is on, half of it is now a flower field where I've tried to spread everything out to leave the maximum amount of space for hybrids.
Yeah. If it would help, if you get stuck at any point, I've got a decent number of hybrids. I can propagate you some. I can come bring you some to get you going.
I wouldn't mind that. So far, I've gotten one orange rose, and I think the blue pansy that's there wasn't there before. But some things have started growing today, so we'll see how it goes.
Ooh.
There are little touches I like in this game. I like that currently my character is 100% blue because of the body paint and all of the blue clothes and the blue bubblegum you can have in your mouth. Utterly meaningless, but it entertained me. Now that it's taken ages and some things are underway, I am enjoying things a lot more because now I have quite a fair bit to do per day. But it took so long to get to that point. And in order to continue doing these things, there is still a lot more shit that's going to drag on. I do fear I'm going to be bored of the game and move on before I even see a gyroid. And that will suck, because gyroids are awesome. But for the most part, it is, as I felt last week about it, it's a charming, entertaining game for a lot of the time, but I am continually frustrated by some of the things it chooses to do and be. But yeah, my little character is adorable, and I like the little emotes that you can do. So, 10 out of 10.
What about you, Conrad?
I played a game that released this past week. I'm not a big, new release first week getter, but I saw this pop up on Steam, and I said to myself, well, I have to. It's called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Demon Hand.
Uh-huh.
What a lovely name.
This was not the original title. They did change the title because, I think, for marketing purposes. It was originally called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Perverted Hand.
Oh.
Yeah. The story of the game is you are a gooner who is playing a gacha game and has spent a bunch of money to maximize the chances that you'll get the outfit for your waifu that you want. And when you don't, in a fit of rage, you punch your computer monitor and are electrocuted.
So far, so relatable.
When you awake, you discover that you are now a disembodied hand living in a world populated by other disembodied hands, all of whom were men at one time, but are now trapped in this form by lusty demons who torment them sexually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm watching an animation of the woman stomp on the hand and deal damage to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you are an older hand has determined that you are the hero that's prophesized to save them. And this is represented through a series of roguelike runs with boss encounters. You play a series of waves in a stationary screen where you have one-hand control using the mouse. Enemies spawn into the screen, and you move your mouse over to slap them. And this eventually gets them so horny that they explode. But your hand is also the point of vulnerability. It is your hitbox and your weapon. So you have to avoid being in the radius of enemies as they execute melee attacks, which are signaled by a gradual red coloring of them. And they fire projectiles that you have to avoid. And then in between waves, you get opportunities to purchase enhancements from gold acquired during the wave that make you more powerful or give you additional orbitals or projectiles or melee options. There's a variety of different hand types that you can be that have their own abilities. The one that I've been playing with the most spawns a bunch of projectiles and causes lightning to connect all of your projectiles on screen, so you can just send out waves of damage. That charges up over time as you acquire one of the two resources, health, and of course, instead of magic points, lust. It's all very themed. The boss encounters, I've been through 2 of them. I've only survived 1. They are pretty difficult. You have a big booby chibi girl that does a different attack. The first one was cow themed. The second one is slime themed. So, they're hitting all of the notes that they need to. When you finish a run successfully, that boss character is then brought back to your base where you can violate them in scenes that I find unpleasant.
You see, I was going to crack in with, I have a question. Is Steam allowing sexy and sex games? One of the best things Steam has ever done. And then the word violate happened, and now I don't feel like asking that question anymore.
Yeah, when the game was simply about slapping women with big tits, it was quite wholesome.
Yeah, it takes it to a place that I'm like, about.
Yeah, like,
which is a shame.
It doesn't have to be violating.
No.
If you defeat them, they respect you enough to be like, yeah, smack my tits around. And, that is how every relationship I've ever had starts. Defeat me in combat, then slap my tits around.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Especially because I really think the gameplay has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
The act of using the mouse as your point of combat and risk is fun, and you want to move quickly because the faster you move the mouse, the faster you're getting hits as you move them across the enemies. But maintaining control when you're going fast is very difficult, and maintaining control is critical for avoiding the damage. It works great, and all of the power-ups have a risk-reward element to them as well. Like, most of the stuff that you can buy in between stages gives you a boost to something at the detriment to something else. So there's a great sense of balance in it. There's a lot of content in it. And it just sucks that my, quote-unquote reward for doing what I admit is pretty fun. Is this thing that I actually actively don't want. That's unfortunate. But I do have to say that mechanically it's fun and a little bit addictive. And I'm actually I'm trying not to use that word as much when I talk about gameplay.
Yeah, like I get you because I've shied away from it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yep, but this is one of those cases where I think it applies because I actively do think the game is somewhat harmful.
Yeah. Like I just what it doesn't have to be rape. Has anyone ever told like people that make these games that it doesn't have to be rape?
You can simply have the character in an incredibly unrealistic manner decide that they are very into you.
Yeah.
No one's gonna complain that it's like, oh, it's unrealistic that she's into me now. She's a demon woman that beat you up as a disembodied hand.
I don't want to talk for everyone, right? But I think most people prefer their sex enthusiastically consented to.
Indeed, consent is sexy.
I tend to find it is fun when we're all having fun. I don't get why so many times it has to be this.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that time I got reincarnated as a demon hand. You're gonna do with that what you will.
Mm-hmm. Well, I sure have one to follow that up with. I, this past weekend, twice saw the Christoph Gans new Silent Hill movie, Return to Silent Hill.
You saw it twice.
I saw it twice. Now, I had to go to the next town over to go see this film. It was screening for 3 days, one screening a day, and that's it done.
Is this the one where they've had one actor play not just Mary and Maria, but Angela as well?
If it is, they did a fucking fantastic job. I wouldn't have known Angela was
Okay.
the same actor.
Maybe I misread something.
You know what? I'm going to look it up now out of curiosity, because if so, genuinely that's impressive. I can't see a separate person listed for Angela.
I might have misread. I saw some. It was like people on Blue Sky were talking about some Silent Hill film or something missing the point by having someone play Mary, Maria, and Angela. It could have been a different project or what. I don't know. I'm probably just overly confusing this and derailing us. Sorry.
No, you are correct. Angela is played by the same person.
Jesus.
So, here's what I will say about this film. It definitely takes some twists and some turns from the original story of Silent Hill 2. It is not a one-to-one adaptation. If you go into it being open to a different story being told, I think they do something very interesting with the pieces of this story. It is not reviewing well, and I understand why. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to look at this and go, that is not Silent Hill 2, and therefore it is bad, and I don't blame them. I'm assuming neither of you particularly mind being spoiled.
I'll live.
Not really.
Yeah.
Curiosity will compel me to watch this at some point, but I don't care.
I think it is worth watching. I think the two big changes this does is it includes a lot more flashes to James and Mary having a life together prior to the events of Silent Hill 2, to give audiences a bit more of a sense of, like, this is the relationship that James is willing to essentially go into hell after. It does very much make Laura, Mary, and Angela one character.
Is that Laura, Mary, Maria, and Angela, or is Laura raped in as well?
Mary, Maria, Angela, and Laura.
Yeah.
All
Why?
aspects of one character.
Why? That's so strange.
I do think what they do with that is really interesting,
Okay.
but it is fundamentally different.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna be a purist about it because like movies are whatever to me when it comes to like this. But as someone who loves Angela's character for what that whole story entails, I've said before, like that's some of the most thoughtful writing about someone with PTSD in any medium, and the fact it was done over 20 years ago is incredible.
I don't think that this erases the things that you like about Angela necessarily.
Okay.
Like, the way I would sum up this take on Silent Hill 2 is A man has to come to terms with the fact that he was not good at dealing with his partner's trauma, or the fact that when his partner got ill, he did the thing that men in real life do, which is bail the fuck out rather than stick around with an unwell partner. And ultimately, it is can you come face to face with and love the version of your partner that you pushed away and tried to run from, that is perhaps an emaciated, dying version of them that you have viewed as monstrous rather than as the person you loved. It takes some of the different characters and the different things they went through in Silent Hill 2, and sort of makes one composite character who went through multiple different negative things, and forces James to reconcile his relationship to one character who is those many things.
Is Eddie in this?
Eddie is in this, and is underused.
Is Eddie played by the character that plays James, or did he get to be his own character?
Different person plays Eddie.
Right. So the bloke got to be his own character, is what I'm fucking getting at.
Eddie is played by a different actor. I think we are meant to read this version of Eddie as being a reflection of James in this take of the story.
Which, in Silent Hill 2, in the original, he is. Angela as well.
The fact that he's played by a different actor, I thought James and Eddie were played by the same actor.
Yeah.
The fact that they are played by different people is, I think, just a product of the fact that they interact with each other in the same scenes.
Yeah. All of this sounds like they're just trying to say what Silent Hill 2 said in a worse and less effective way.
It is definitely saying something a little different, but I don't think that the different thing it is saying is bad. I think that it is quite thoughtful in how it tells the slightly different thing it's telling. More broadly, I will say I really like the stuff they did with their creature design. I think that they avoided feeling too tackily video gamey with their telling of it. I think they managed to do something that the Silent Hill remake games struggled with, which is not overusing any of the monsters or any of the scares just for the sake of keeping reusing them. Genuinely very good work with the monster that is the people in the bed, the bed people.
The Abstract Daddy.
The Abstract Daddy. The tangibly flesh goop encounter with the Abstract Daddy is one of the most viscerally uncomfortable things I've ever seen in very much the right ways. I think there is a very interesting film here, if you can separate it from this is an adaptation of Silent Hill 2 and the expectations that you might have of that.
Okay.
But I also completely understand how it's ended up where it has review scores-wise.
Yeah, it just... Obviously, I will have to see it for myself to have an actual, proper opinion.
Yeah.
Everything sounds like they were trying to get a bit too clever with it, and just weren't clever enough to back it up. That's what it sounds like, but I've not seen it.
To me, it feels more like they had less than 2 hours to tell this story, and they had to make some decisions here and there as to how to get that story down to 2 hours, and making... hey, this is a story essentially about two people. We're going to simplify these down into being two sides of this story. I think largely manages to keep intact the things that the individual parts of that build to. It's interesting for sure. It is a fascinating watch. Whether you're going to come out of this liking it or not, I think it is fascinating to see what choices were made with the time and budget that was there.
Yeah. Well, I might actually seek this out now. You've made me curious enough.
Good luck checking it out now, because its 3-day theatrical run has already ended.
I will probably seek other means to acquire
It'll be
it.
seekable. I am sure it will be seekable.
Sorry for the kerfuffle. My keyboard arrived.
Hooray!
Yay! I can now type again.
Did either of you have anything else you played this week you wanted to talk about particularly?
I played Fighting Force.
Yeah?
Fighting Force! Yes! Fighting Force. One of the PlayStation 1 classics in terms of games that as kids we all played level 1 of because it was on a demo disc, and then we never played the rest of it. Fighting Force is, I don't know if it's the first, it's probably not the first, but it was one of the first 3D beat-em-ups, like a Streets of Rage style game in a fully 3D environment. Certainly in the UK, it came on a demo disc with a lot of PSX consoles. I played the shit out of it. I did go on to play some of the full game as well back in the day, but it is that first level I'm intimately familiar with. And for some reason, just because it's not obscure, but it's not a well-known, beloved classic, so the idea of Limited Run bringing it out made me laugh. But then again, last year they did Bubsy, so anything's possible now. It's not a great game. It is fun to go back to. Those early PSX graphics are very fun to look at. For $20 though, it and its sequel, I don't know, might be a bit much, because it doesn't come with many bells and whistles. I've not got a lot to say about it, really. That's about it. I've had a lot of fun going back to it nostalgically. So yeah, there we are.
Yeah. 2 very quick things before we wrap. One of them, I talked about Factorio on the Switch 2 the other week, not supporting mouse mode, and that being really weird. Turns out the Switch 2 demo for Factorio doesn't support mouse mode. The paid version of the game does. Which is weird, because the demo put me off picking up the full game, because I played a decent amount of the demo going, oh, this doesn't control well, I don't really want... this doesn't do the thing that would have made it work better. I did pick up the full game after that being pointed out to me, and yeah, being able to play that with mouse mode, this is actually a really nice port of Factorio. I really wish that the demo made it clear that support existed, rather than making me think it wasn't in the game. And yeah, with that, we got time for maybe one little bit of news before we wrap up today. I think if we're going to do one bit of news, this is the one I want to touch on, because I find it kind of hilarious. A very quick 2-part story. Part 1. Ubisoft, this past week, cancelled a shit ton of in-development video games they'd been working on, one of which was the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake that was reportedly like 90% of the way to being completed. It was real near the finish line. As well as another 6 major AAA games that were considerably far into development but hadn't been announced yet. Major closures across various studios at Ubisoft. They're closing their Halifax mobile studio, their Stockholm studio, restructuring, quote-unquote, their publishers in Abu Dhabi, Red Lynx, and their massive teams. Job losses all over the shop as they cancel a bunch of games they had in development. Part 2 to the story. Ubisoft has confirmed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 remains a priority for the studio and survived this massive culling of titles.
Jesus Christ. I've got nothing else to say. Just Jesus Christ.
The fact that it has somehow survived, quote, a major organizational, operational, and portfolio reset that closed 2 studios and cancelled multiple games, but they're still like, Beyond Good and Evil 2, this is gonna be the one, it's still real, we're not giving up on it.
Is this a psyop? Are they fucking with us?
It's that, or it is like the single worst case of sunk cost fallacy I have ever seen anywhere.
And considering how hard they pushed NFTs, that's saying a lot.
It is.
Here is their defense for not cancelling it while cancelling, like, a single-player Prince of Persia remake that was 90% done. Beyond Good and Evil 2 remains part of our portfolio and our roadmap, and fits with our strategy of focusing on open-world adventures. The fantasy genre is underserved, and Ubisoft has a unique proposition with its Beyond Good and Evil sequel.
Uh-huh.
How the fuck has this game survived? How did it survive Michel Ancel going to live on a farm? How did it survive any of the last 8 years? Sorry, 9 years. This version of the game's been publicly in development for 9 years.
It is baffling. Someone one day is going to write the best book about the development of this game.
Hey, if you're someone listening to this podcast who works at Ubisoft and is working on Beyond Good and Evil 2 and wants to just, like, dish about, like, the last 9 years, I would love to get in on that expose on what's been going down, because goddamn, you gotta have some stories, whoever you are out there listening, huh?
You have been through some shit.
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if everyone working at Ubisoft also went, what the fuck? I thought that got cancelled.
Well, that's the thing. If they hadn't mentioned it, there's so many times where it could have just quietly slipped off the radar. But every time they've come around and gone, no, we remember it exists, and we've chosen to keep it that way.
I mean, there have been reports that internally, like, shit's gone off the rails about, complaints about upper management and...
Well,
and,
I mean, Ubisoft is in big trouble. They are in big trouble.
Yeah. The whole situation fucking sucks. Like, that's the thing, about it for me. Like, I'm not going to cheerlead Ubisoft failing because...
Well, no, you can't, because the company and the management deserve it, but they're not the ones that are going to suffer.
Exactly. And especially at a company like this where it is clear that the people who are there suffering have been suffering for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I take no joy in it, but it is baffling, this choice.
Yeah, the fact that this is the one to survive will never not amaze me. So yeah, that's us for the week. We done it.
Well, very much like Beyond Good and Evil 2. Laura, you've always got work in development, and perhaps you'd like to tell us about that work right now. Well, the difference is your stuff actually comes out.
Yes. Hey, if you want to watch an hour and 15-minute video of me driving a fake train from Brighton to London Victoria, while on a real train going from Brighton to London Victoria, you can either watch it with me spending an hour and 15 minutes telling you train facts, or the version that is just the video of me on the train and gentle train sounds as the real train and the fake train do things. You can find both versions of that video up on youtube.com/LauraKBuzz. You can support my ability to go on additional train journeys while telling you train facts by supporting me over on patreon.com/LauraKBuzz. If people enjoy that first video, the next one I want to go record is on the Avanti West Coast Pendolino service from London Euston to Birmingham New Street, which is the class of train and route that I got married to my wife on. So if that video ends up happening, it'll be an hour and a half of me talking about getting married to my wife on a train, which I look forward to. That's a thing I could talk at length about. Also, keep an eye open for a video I've got in the works, probably going to be up in the next week or so, about the My Chemical Romance album Danger Days, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, and why I love that as a concept album as much as I do. Laura K. Buzz, go check out all the things I'm working on, which largely this year is me just letting the autism win, apparently. Go check that out. What about you, Conrad?
Oh, you can find me at Conrad Zimmerman on Blue Sky, and you can hang out with me on Twitch at twitch.tv/thatconradzimmerman. I'm usually on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays. You can buy anti-capitalist propaganda and Jimquisition merchandise at mercenarycreative.com, and everything I do online gets supported through Patreon at patreon.com/fistshark. And you know who else has a Patreon? Stephanie Sterling.
That's correct. Patreon.com/Jimquisition, which supports this podcast. Reviews on thejimquisition.com. I'll probably have something about Fighting Force up soon. And the web show Hi Steph, formerly Jimquisition. We should have a new video out this coming Monday. Was going to be this past Monday, but with the fucking insomnia and all that shit, like the weekends just creep up on me now. But should almost certainly be up this coming Monday. That will be about YouTube's latest horrifying language sanitization efforts. Other than that, you can check out my work in Vampire Survivors, Quantum Witch, and Date Everything. And Vampire Survivors The Grimoire will be coming out later this year, a book co-authored by myself and Paul Davies. And I am still cutting through the 10,000 plus words I went over the limit on that, but I'm making good progress. So yeah, and there will be some really awesome news about some other writing stuff I'm doing coming hopefully soon. Other than that, thank you all so much for supporting and for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.